and welcome back. We are on part 3 of our Moonlighter Beyond Dimensions. As we left off last time, we are currently full on inventory. Rather than exploring out the rest of the dungeon, I want to get a hold of the mirror that allows us to break down items on the spot in exchange for gold. So since in the last episode we located where the floor boss was going to be, we are going to go ahead and head up there and take him out. So we've got a monster egg here. I've got a turret egg already. I think we'll leave that one be for now. Don't really have anything that I want to get rid of, so what we're going to do, we're going to go down, take advantage of the healing pond to get our lost HP back. And we are going to continue on and complete the floor. So here's our first floor boss. His moveset is pretty straightforward. You can normally get about 2 hits in, block the next one. As you progress through, their moveset does mix up a little bit. I am unable to drop anything, but we know that we need these broken swords as well as the hardened steel to upgrade our equipment, so I'm going to place a few of the lesser valued objects into this chest to make sure that we've got room. So the fundamental difference between the bosses is going through the portal boss location, you can get a weapon that is more damage and helpful for the remainder of the trial. Or you can go and beat the basic floor boss, which gives you loot and artifacts that you can then sell or use for upgrading purposes. So we're going to avoid the rest of the items there, take these, and proceed onward. Alright, so now we're in Golem Dungeon Floor 2. This first entrance is always going to be scripted. It's an introduction to your mirror. So, the purpose of the mirror is essentially an alchemist tool. You're going to use it from your inventory. And what it's going to allow you to do is directly drop an item into the mirror, and it will output gold. This is particularly helpful if you've made the mistake of spending all your gold, upgrading your town and shop, and you now don't have enough to indent out. So basically what you're going to do, you're going to pick up an item, hover it over the mirror, drop it in, and you will see gold output in the form of a plus gold in the top left-hand corner. I am not currently going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and teleport out of the dungeon. And we're going to go to day 2 of selling. One thing to keep in mind, when you're exploring the dungeons, there is a time limit. when this time limit triggers, a large enemy is going to come out, and it has the ability to kill you in one hit. It's essentially just saying you've overstayed your welcome, and it is time to go. So you'll notice up here, our golem egg is now located inside this pin. What's going to happen is this egg will eventually hatch, and you can bring it into the dungeon with you as a form of assistance. This particular one, when it hatches, it's going to be a mini stream golem, so it will move around and actively shoot streams of energy at enemies. The first thing I'm going to do every time I complete a dungeon is come and drop off items that I know I am going to need for crafting, just so that we're not accidentally selling those. Got a good price on that one. What did we have bad prices on? We'll take one whetstone. So I'm sure that these other artifacts have some practical application. I'm just not going to be using them yet, so we're going to go ahead and sell what we do not need. I have not sold any glass lenses yet. We're going to put it at about 100, since it's in between the other ones. We have sold these, the price was good, it can be let go as is. I apologize for the initial tier of running the shop. Having such few spaces, it is going to take a little bit of time to get rid of our items here. And will probably not be all that exciting. So ancient pots, we haven't gotten a good price on yet. And our whetstone we sold for too cheap, so I'm gonna go ahead and up those a little bit. Found a good price for the whetstones and the ancient pots, so now we've got a good baseline in the future, and it'll be more quick and streamlined to get those sold. Good price on our glass lenses, which means we are done for the day. Go ahead and close up shop. Closing shop does fast forward it to nighttime. Made a good amount of gold today. So we're gonna go ahead and exit out. First up is we are going to talk to the blacksmith. So on your weapons, you'll notice you've got higher base damage on the top tier of it, and lower base damage, but different effects. I have only ever upgraded to the first tier, so all I know is Confuse, which temporarily stuns your enemies. So what we're going to do here is we've finally got enough that we are going to build our big training sword, which again is one of my preferred weapons, as it gives you more damage than some of your other options, but it gives you the ability to make large sweeping attacks. We also have enough that we can make our armor. So we are going to start with something slow. Actually, don't have enough gold for it, so back to the dungeon. Make sure that you are equipping your items. We're going to go back and put our broom spear away. I didn't get any jellies, so there's no point in making potions right now, but I do still have 7 total from my previous run. If for whatever reason you don't want to go back into the dungeon, you are able to sleep and get some status boosts. But we are going to go back to the dungeon and try and get some of that cleared. I forgot to sell our Golem History. So it is just under the 3,000 mark. So I am going to actually put it at about 2,900. And that'll be helpful for when we open shop tomorrow. So the good thing about the heavy two-handed sword, obviously you can no longer block with a shield, but you do get a large sweeping motion, which is good for both range and hitting multiple enemies. And then you've also got your charged attack, which is a large swing. So far, with the limited amount I've played, the two-handed sword and the sword and shield are about the most powerful combination for starting out that you can have. You do get a little bit of a knockback effect with it as well, which makes dealing with those very simple. Got a flying golem egg. So I believe this is a little bit weaker than our upgraded sword and shield. We've already found the boss location. We'll continue along. This is one of the rooms. It really doesn't have any purpose other than you do have the option to come over here. You can read some flavor text. Essentially, it's just giving you a quick breakdown of what some of the other adventurers have left behind. Again, you don't really gain anything, so at least at this stage and everything, I do not know if there's a point to actually exploring those other than just as a cute little break from the grind of running dungeons. I like the ability to have a primary and secondary weapon that you can just switch through with L1. Makes combat considerably more fluid and focused. I think I'm going to try and clear 2 floors this time, so it may actually be beneficial to go ahead and take the slime portal floor and get that enhanced weapon. These guys are amusing. You actually have to dodge out of their way and have them hit a wall, stunning themselves in order to damage them. None of the combat is necessarily overly challenging. It's a lot of it is just learning the patterns of the enemies that you are going up against and what their capabilities are. So once you get that down, it's a pretty straightforward run. So we've got an artifact curse breaker. 2 of them. So I think what we'll do for the time being is break some of these curses that we already have in place. So we're going to break the curse on the fabric. And then we are going to take our hidden artifacts and break the curse on those as well. And then we'll consolidate our inventory a little bit. So, as you can see, the wide sweeping attack is very, very helpful for dealing with the golems. Spears are also helpful. The broom spear, if you don't have anything else, is perfect for it. So we've got a shiny room, secret room down here. Let's see what it is. It is another book room. That's unfortunate. I was really hoping for more of a chest to send everything back. So if you pay attention to the gold in the top left corner, you'll notice we were given 1 gold for the item that we scrapped. So generally it is going to be a lower return than actually taking it and selling it in a shop. So I think we've effectively cleared our first floor of the dungeon. We're going to go to the healing pond, get our HP back, and then move onward. And like I said before, I am going to take the secondary path. If I can remember exactly where it was. So we can get the enhanced weapon to help us on the next floor. There it is. From what I've seen, whether you're on the first floor in the portal dungeon or the actual golem cave, the first floor boss tends to remain the same. So there's not too much to worry about on that front. One good thing is if you have items such as this that are cursed, and you don't have room for them and don't want them, you can pull them straight out of the chest, scrap them for gold, and continue on your way. Sword and shield is very effective for them. If you block their attack, they'll simply knock you backwards and you can counter-attack. Gonna scrap out some of the items that I know we've got a lot of in our storage so that I can make room for other artifacts. Generally, anything over 1 stack of an item per run is unnecessary, so I would definitely recommend monitoring that and not bringing more than you really need to bring. So, if you have over a stack, go ahead and scrap it rather than struggling. If you do get artifacts that are cursed, but it's the same curse, you are able to stack those. You cannot, however, stack artifacts of different curse types. So we're already at our boss here. We're making good time. The two-handed sword is a little slow for this, so we're going to go ahead and switch back to the sword and shield so we can make quick work of him. It is, however, good for these, and for the baby slimes. Let's make sure we're using potions when we need to. Don't get greedy with them. If you have to heal, make sure you heal so you're not out everything that you progress through the dungeon to get. So now, I've used up most of my potions. I'm going to go ahead and equip those, which is going to open up a slot for the Spore Sword. So we're going to quick move the Spore Sword and see exactly what it does. It appears to be a one-handed sword, but we do not get a shield. So one of the unique aspects about these weapons is their special attack actually costs HP to use. So you will have to be mindful of that, or you can end up putting yourself in a very bad situation. So we're entering the second floor. I'm going to keep an eye out. Actually, first things first, I want to remove my sword and shield in favor of the Spore Sword, but keep my two-handed sword. We're going to need to be mindful of our inventory. There's no point in running through a dungeon if we're not going to be able to hold the rewards from the dungeon. Gold chests tend to have much better loot in it, as well as different aspects of artifact curses. So this artifact, if you take too many hits, it's going to break in your inventory, so I tend to just go ahead and sell those outright so I don't have to worry about that. One of the most important things you can do is just take a moment to think about exactly where you're placing everything. So, for example, this artifact sends an artifact in the direction it's pointing immediately to the shop. So we are going to use it to send that back. Now I can stack those. And sending cursed artifacts back as well is beneficial. You just have to make sure that it is something that will not destroy another one of your artifacts. The next up is, we already know that the Teeth Stone, we've got quite a few of them. So what we're going to do here is this artifact will actually turn the artifact that it's pointing at into said artifact upon returning to town. So if you use that on a cheap and easy artifact to get your hands on that you've got a lot of, it can be very beneficial for you. We're going to let him hit. So you'll notice our enemies are getting a little bit stronger. They're taking more damage to kill. I think we have enough whetstone. I know we have enough teeth stone. Since we're full on inventory and low on time, I think I'll go ahead and progress forward and fight the Guardian of the Floor. I don't have anything to block now. You'll notice his moveset is a little different. So we're gonna have to be careful. His damage is drastically increased compared to the last one we fought. His moveset is still relatively the same. He's going to ground pound, teleport out, teleport in and hit you. I'm out of potions, and we died. And that is how easy it can go poorly. You do not lose your equipped items, you do not lose any of the items in your inventory belt, but you do lose everything else. And since it is a randomly generated dungeon, there is no getting it back. So it's important to know when to fight through and when to run. But we will use this as a stopping point. And next time we will continue on through the dungeons. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.